Hello, everyone. Taser2 here, and welcome back to episode 10 of the Lads Podcast. 10.
10. We're in the double digits.
Double digits now.
Wow-wee.
So, regardless of that achievement, that we actually made it to double digits, and it's been like, I want to say it's been a little bit under a year, but
A little bit under. Quite a bit under, yeah, actually.
quite a
We
bit
started,
under a year.
We started somewhere around the summer.
Yeah, somewhere last summer. But we're coming up on a year, and we've made 10 episodes of this.
That's insane.
Anyway, I guess we've already ruined the intro, so let's just dive right into it.
Yep, no intros anymore. We're not doing those.
So we were talking about Amazon before this, and and Jerry's house is a little secluded. So I asked, how did they get the boxes? How do you deliver Amazon? And he responded that he doesn't use Amazon, which was completely foreign to me because I use Amazon for everything. Like, my desk is from Amazon, my microphone's from Amazon, my headphones are from Amazon. Everything around me is from Amazon or Walmart. So that was very odd to me.
Yeah, I imagine your reaction was something like when you get hit in the face by your dog's tail. You just kind of blah. I'm imagining that was your reaction.
I was like, what? That was just so odd to me. So, yeah, if anyone else doesn't use Amazon, let me know, because maybe it's a lot more than I'm thinking.
I doubt it. My family's just odd.
So, since we've recorded this podcast, a lot of stuff has been happening.
Oh, yeah, quite a lot. Oh, boy. Man.
For example, the unavoidable thing that we must say that is the Capitol, the Capitol riot.
Yeah, this is old news at this point, 2 weeks ago, but we might as well cover it.
Yeah, so there was that, which was pretty interesting to see.
It was fun to watch, I'll give them that. It was quite a performance.
I feel like it was a little hypocritical, too, because they're always... because it was two opposite sides of the political spectrum between the Black Lives Matter riots, or however you want to call them, the riots that happened around the George Floyd murder, and these riots that just happened. So they're two opposite sides of the spectrum. So I figured they wouldn't go there, but they did.
They did anyway.
Yeah. So that was entertaining. Our evening kind of got interrupted. My mom came home and we told her about it, and we were sitting there. We had this little thing set up where we weren't really doing anything, but we were just sitting there and watching several different news sources of the different stuff that's happening, because they cover things differently, and they might be in different places at different times. So trying to see it live as it happens, we got a bunch of news sites up trying to look live feed of what's happening, and we got this little setup here and two monitors, and we're just kind of watching, and we're telling mom about it, and she's like, okay, turn the news, I'll order pizza. So we just kind of sat down,
nonchalant response,
watch the live feed of that going down, and we ate pizza.
I remember when I heard about it, I was still at school at the time, and I just kind of glanced over it at first. I was like, oh, okay, that might be something worth looking into. And then, like, immediately as school ended, I opened up YouTube, as I do, and the first thing that comes up is a live stream of the Capitol riot. I'm like, oh, this is something I should check out. And then I did, and I was completely drawn into it. I'm like, wow.
And a couple of what's it called? A couple of other things came from that, or one of the things that came from that were pretty big, and one of these things before that were also pretty big. So one of the things after that is Gutex, which you may not know who this is, but he is the PogChamp face.
Oh, I remember this.
His emote got removed because he was supporting the riots. So that's one thing that came out of it. And before this, I think it was a day or two before, YouTuber streamer, I think YouTuber. Call Me Carson was accused of sending illicit pictures to a 17-year-old when he was 19. So this is years ago. And if you think about it, that's the most interesting part of this. Like, also it was a fan. So there's two things. There's two red flags. First of all, minor. Second of all, it was the fact that he was using his fans for this. And it was irrefutable proof. A lot of evidence came out that just proved absolutely that he was doing this. So like at first you analyze it and you're like, oh, the age gap, that's only 2 years. Like some people in high school do more than that. But then you look at it more and you're like, oh, this is actually a terrible thing. You know, like it's hard to look at news and say objectively whether things are good or bad.
But this one just
But
simply is
this one
illegal.
simply is. Because at first you're like, is this even real? Like, is it as bad as they're making out to be? Things like that. And Carson
Well, the
said
proof
nothing.
says yes. No.
Carson said nothing. That was the most interesting thing about it. He said almost nothing about this, and the only reason it came out now, because this happened a while ago, was because his contract ended with his streamer group. And was had some kind of NDA thing going on. Because the Carson didn't expose this himself, of course. But the statement came out from Lunch Club, which is the association, or whatever you want to call it. It's like a streamer community type thing, like offline TV or whatever you want to call it. You know, they came out and they were like, oh, we knew this was happening in March of 2019. But they didn't say anything. So that's very odd to see. And I think it's some kind of contract deal where they can't say anything. Like an NDA or something like that. So I don't know if there was any conclusion of it. I'm sure there was, and I just didn't see it because I'm an expert at that. I'm an expert at getting most of the news.
You're like 99% of a journalist. Not 80% of a journalist. Good job.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's all you really need. Just 80%. That's enough. That's more than it.
And it
That's
looks
most.
like he did not yeah, and his page has nothing on it for Twitter. So there's gonna be I can't just look it up real quick and see what he's saying about it because he hasn't tweeted since the day that happened. So it doesn't seem like he said anything. I don't know if he will. I don't know if he already did. I don't know. You can go find out yourself. Do your own research. Don't trust me.
Yeah, please don't. We're not experts.
So let's go to some better news. So Bethesda is working with, what was the studio name?
I have no idea.
I think it was
I'm not
Machine.
following this one.
I think it was Machine Games. So Bethesda's working with Machine Games on an Indiana Jones video game. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
You,
I thought you were going to add more.
Nope. That's it.
That's all we know about it. That they are working on it.
They are working on an Indiana Jones video game.
Wow. I mean, sounds cool.
And the last Indiana Jones game I played was the Lego games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the last game they released was like some, I forget what it was, but it was like some random game on a random console, like one of those throwaway games with big budgets, you know, that sort of thing. And it was like 2013, I want to say.
Right.
Yeah. So, new Indiana Jones game.
New Indiana Jones movie
exciting.
as well, from what I've heard.
Yeah, a new movie coming up too, so that'll be exciting to see
That will
both
be
of
fun.
those.
And that's all we know about that for the time being. There is no more news.
Yeah, that's it. It's
That's it.
happening though.
Yeah.
It's
Keep
happening.
an eye out. Keep an eye out.
So let's talk about President-elect Biden, who is now President Biden, President Joe Biden. He is now in office, and he's made a few executive orders.
Quite a few.
Quite a
On
few,
his first
actually.
day.
Yeah. A lot of presidents do that, so that's not totally like unexpected. But it was and some of the things that came out. I'm not gonna get into that. You guys can fight about that
in the comments. Yeah.
Fighting in the comments. I've done enough of that on Twitter.
Well, we could say what he did, what bills he signed.
Well, there's a lot of them, but a few ones that I saw were he froze deportation for 100 days. He stopped the construction of the Keystone Pipeline, which was an oil pipeline. This was going to be its final installment, and he stopped that due to ecological concerns. And he added trans people to that don't discriminate in the workplace against list. You know how you can't be like sexist and job moves and stuff like that. You know how it's like you can't do that.
He also signed a mask mandate.
And he signed a 100-day mask mandate on federal land. Which is funny because the day he did that, he wasn't wearing a mask on federal land.
Oh wow.
But I won't talk about that. And his PR guy kept calling a reporter by his father's name. Again, we won't go into that. Anyway, the real announcement here with President Biden is Bernie sitting in a metal chair.
The best memes of 2021 Sanders, by far.
Senator Bernie Sanders sitting in a metal chair. For some reason, Twitter or internet in general went wild and made hundreds of thousands of photos of him in just the uniquest of places. I even joined myself. You know, I put him in a Minecraft boat. I don't know if you saw that. I don't think you follow me on Twitter. I don't think you have Twitter.
I do have Twitter.
Oh, you
I
do?
just don't check it like ever. I don't care to.
Don't follow me. Hold on. Let me pull up the. I'll send you the picture.
All right. But yeah, there's hundreds of these memes. I've seen a few, but I know that there's hundreds because
there are hundreds.
Bernie Sanders himself has reacted to them, and he quite likes them from what I've heard.
He is the most memeable president, or not president, senator.
I love that. That's a great meme.
So that was the news I came up with. Oh, right. Also, before the podcast, we were talking about dark mode.
Dark mode. That was a big topic.
Yes, we were talking about dark mode because we were outraged by the fact that dark mode isn't on everything. Because dark mode is the best thing ever.
Right. Who even uses light mode? I'm looking at you. You watching this on YouTube with light mode?
Yeah.
How dare you?
I would say listening to Spotify on light mode, but that's not an option.
Good.
Options
are good.
Or even listening on Apple Podcast on light mode. Does Apple Podcast even have a dark mode?
I don't know. We'll look into it later. We'll find out. We'll put that in the description. I'm guessing a yes or no on that.
If I remember.
If you don't, I'll comment on YouTube.
You'll comment on YouTube if you remember.
I'll comment that on YouTube.
I mean, you have an iPhone, so you can check.
I could.
Probably, if you could.
Probably a simple Google search. If anyone wanted to just know, they probably already looked it up. They probably don't care enough to look
Yeah,
it
they
up.
probably don't care enough to look it up, and they probably don't care enough to know the answer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were talking about how every social media platform ever has dark mode, except Spotify.
And Snapchat.
Or not Spotify, Snapchat, sorry. That's what I meant
There
to
you
say.
go.
The amount of blunders I make on this show. It's a miracle we survived 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Fascinated.
Spotify doesn't have a dark. I said it again.
It's all right. You can do this.
All right, breathe. Snapchat doesn't have a dark mode,
Good job.
which is just astounding to me. Because
It's absurd.
it's all about your phone. Snapchat is all about your phone, using your phone, being on it, taking pictures, sending them, things like that.
Streaks.
Streaks. It's all about that. It's all about using their app. So, dark mode. Why isn't it there? And it's obviously targeted to a younger audience who uses said dark mode. You don't see like 40 somethings on Snap.
Well, I mean,
Snap
hey.
Snap is kind of self-contained anyway. Like it's only contained within your friends, really.
Right.
Because it's your phone. It's using your phone number, locating in the area, things like that.
No dark mode though. That's sad. Abhorrent.
Dark mode is the best mode.
Yeah, who uses light mode? Just help your eyes out. Use dark mode. The people watching this in light mode hate us.
Probably. Well, I don't know why, but I was thinking about this. I recently came across. Well, I didn't come across it. I was actually pinged in our Discord server, small community servers, link in the small community streamers, link in the description. Anyway, so I was pinged in there, and it was a link to VRoid Studio, which, if you don't know what that is, it is a application that you can use to use your camera, and it mounts on your body with, and moves your mouse with facial recognition to become an animated individual, becoming a anime persona, if you will, becoming a virtual YouTuber, if you will.
I've seen one example of that, but I don't know their name or their channel name.
Becoming a VTuber, if you will. So, when I read this, at first I said no. And I was like, but I have an idea. What if I made it a tier on my Extra Life page? That if we hit that threshold, I would do it as a challenge. And because I actually have an idea for a challenge, I switched around the D&D tier with the challenging tier, because the challenge tier is actually easier to do. So now, if we hit $50 dues, I will do a challenge, and you'll get to pick the game. So if we accomplish that, I will become VTuber for one stream. And I will be playing a game of your choosing, dear viewers and listeners. So that's my plug.
That's an opportunity that can't be beat.
Yeah, you can't really beat it. Like, me become VTuber, like, really, come on.
You gotta see it.
You see me with anime filter. You see me with anime filter. It's pretty nice. You haven't seen me with the anime filter?
I have not.
It's a little down my my Twitter feed. I'll have to show you.
All right.
Oh, actually, I think I have it saved to my phone. Either way, I'll show you after the show.
Cool. Oh yeah.
And so, hit that $50 tier, VTuber. You'll have it, and it'll just be It'll just be yours. You can take screenshots of it. You can ping me on Twitter, make fun of it.
We want memes of it.
Yes, memes. You can meme it, just like Bernie Sanders. Maybe not just like Bernie Sanders. This will be a little more malicious, but
A little.
a little bit. Also, I should probably point out that this isn't just money to me, it's actually to a charity. It's Extra Life. If you go down to the description and you can donate to them, and through my page you will be donating to Mission Critical funding, which means that they will fund the most in need hospitals. And it's legit. It's through the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. I've actually, in the past, when I supported Johns Hopkins instead of Mission Critical, I actually had a contact there that I could use if I needed it, which I didn't. Except once I had a contact for legal reasons, I wanted to see the potentials for selling merchandise, even though I didn't have any, because I had a couple ideas for some. So anyway, there's my most interesting plug.
There it is. That was a big one, but it was fine.
It was a really big plug, but we made it.
We got there.
I have 2 questions from podcast submissions I posted on Twitter and Snapchat.
Wow, we actually got questions? That's new.
Two questions.
That's fascinating, man.
So, Anonymous via Snapchat posted. Here's a good one. What is the podcast about?
Is it about anything?
Not particularly.
I remember I kind of want to do my own podcast with a topic, but I don't think this one has that.
It does not.
No, we just kind of go on about whatever. I mean, the closest we could say it has a topic would be news. We cover current events.
Yeah, more like mainstream news though. It's not like news.
Yeah, not yeah.
It's not like legitimate news that you see on the news.
It's not reliable news. Might not be.
It's not reliable news either.
Yeah,
it's outdated news.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. In simple terms, it's not about anything except like mainstream news.
It's the show about nothing. We're Seinfeld.
Oh God, I don't want to be compared to Seinfeld. No.
What's wrong? You don't like Seinfeld?
Honestly, no. Just straight up, no. I don't.
To be honest, I didn't watch it that much. I have no clue.
From the little bit of it I've seen, I don't care for it.
The show, you don't care for the show about nothing.
No. Our show about nothing. Sure. That show about nothing?
Nah. Kind of weird, champ.
Kinda.
So now we move on to Twitter here, where Angel Shibe asks, who's going to be on the podcast? Eyes emoji.
A lot of people.
Approximately 2 from my calculations.
A whole 2 of us. And some guests.
2 of us. And some guests sometimes. Even you. We've already talked about this.
Yeah.
Probably. I'll send you the form.
Wait, me? Are we talking about me? I'm a guest now?
No, Angel.
Oh.
We're gonna send Angel Shibe the form.
I'd be my own guest. I would totally do that.
If you don't know who Angel Shibe is, which you probably don't, Jerry.
I don't.
He's a streamer I stream often with.
Okay.
So we're not really hitting our 45 mark, even though
we're not. It's funny. There's so much news going on, and we just can't cover it because it's all political.
It's all political, and I don't really want to. I don't want to divide us, which we had that one lost episode. That's just all politics.
That could have been politics. Well, it was like it wasn't.
It was all politics.
I just heard noise and it threw me off. Yeah, it was. It wasn't like subjective politics. It was more like this is what's happening.
So that was like all politics, and that's a lost episode.
I'm sad we lost that one. I really enjoyed it.
It was mostly for just the after show. We were just kind of there talking for a while.
Yeah, the after show was really fun. You should like one day say, "All right, we're done recording," and then just do it anyway. And then
we're done recording. Pressure's off. Just hit the button.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like cut out bits that we don't need. Just keep the comedy gold.
Yeah, I wasn't there for most of it.
Yeah, but next time.
Yeah, there's always next time
There is always
when I
next time.
actually get a sufficient setup.
Yeah.
Because right now I have nothing.
My dog just jumped up next to me. He's panting really hard.
Oh, well, my dog wants out, so we'll cut hair. We'll be back.
Okay.
Bam, the magic vetting. Look at that. We're already back.
We've made so many cuts in this episode.
Not really.
Yeah, kind of. Okay.
I cut it all the time because it's just dead noise.
Yeah,
You
we do have
don't
a lot of that.
you don't notice it when it's just audio, but if we were doing like a video,
Mhm.
you would notice it.
Right, because you'd be jumping a lot.
Yeah. And what I thought was when I was looking when at first I didn't know that was the case when you did that.
Hmm?
I didn't notice that was the case when people like do cuts. I didn't notice that a lot of people just cut a lot of their podcast because there's cuts I wouldn't notice.
Right, like if you pan to someone else or something.
No, in podcasts, so like audio.
All right, just up. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's
Like
harder to pick up on.
It's harder to pick up on with audio. It's actually pretty difficult. It's almost indistinguishable unless you got a waveform analyzer.
Or
So
if you accidentally cut the middle of someone's sentence.
yeah, if you accidentally
accidentally.
cut the end and you don't like hear the exhale, it sounds a little awkward. So anyway, this is gonna be a bit of a shorter one
Yeah,
because,
it's
like
fine.
we said,
We could probably ramble for another 20 minutes or so.
there's a lot of news and we haven't talked about it. We move on to I have a question if you're ready.
I mean, I've been ready for once this whole episode.
All right. Do you want to start or shall I?
Damn, blurt that word. I hate having to make decisions like that. We don't want to get you demonetized, but I guess I can go first. I'll go first.
All right, you go.
All right. I have a question.
What is your question, Jerry?
What's a skill that you have that you thought was completely useless until you found out it wasn't?
Ooh. There's a lot of skills that I like didn't know was a skill. Like
Right.
being computer literate, I wasn't aware that was a skill until someone
Yeah, that's a big skill.
until someone was like, "How do you do this?" And I'm like, "You do this. It's easy." And I go, "What? You don't know this? This isn't common knowledge?" There's a lot of things like that where I just like because I'm so adept with it, I don't realize it's an actual skill.
Right.
And I guess that comes with the generation, because like a lot of us younger folks, we don't realize that like it's harder for older people to use the internet because they didn't grow up with it.
Right. I experienced that a lot.
My dad just said to the other room said from those who taught you how, which is like because my dad taught me how to use the internet. Obviously, like my parents did, because they introduced us to it.
I learned from school and nothing else.
I'm talking about even older folks like my grandparents. They have no idea how to use the internet, really. Like talk, like my grandfather uses paper bills and he goes to the bank to transfer his money and things like that, which to me I'm like, it's so much easier to just use mobile banking, at least for me.
But they don't understand that, so it's harder.
It's probably not that they don't understand it, it's just that they're used to it being a certain way.
No, and that might be in their case, but I've noticed in a lot of cases they simply just don't understand. Like it takes time to learn how to completely use something that you've never experienced before,
Right.
especially as age goes on. Like not to show off my psych skills, but I've been taking psychology, and we even went over this and when we covered how people learn,
Because
like
brain development, right?
brain development, right? Like why it's easier to learn a new language when you're younger as opposed to when you're older. It's the same thing.
Right. That's
Brain
the.
elasticity, it wears out off or
I
wears
thought it was
down
brain
as you age.
plasticity.
That's the one. See, I'm good. See, okay, my brain
You retain the information, but
plasticity
not the
is
word.
wearing down. See, I'm old now.
Yeah, you're just old. There we go. That's the real. That's the real thing right there. That's the real problem.
That's the problem right there. I called it elasticity. Can you imagine a slingshot brain?
Slingshot brain, bro. Sometimes I feel like my brain is a slingshot brain.
It should go.
I take in information and I shoot it out.
Shoot it as far away as possible. Yeah, that's it too. You can't retain the information anymore because your brain it's becoming less pliable to that new information.
It's just the image of brain elasticity, just your brain in a slingshot.
Oh, I love that. Oh.
Anyways, Jerry, so I have a question.
I didn't answer mine.
Oh, right, you have to answer your own.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do.
I'm trying to speed along here, even though
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
fine.
shorter episode.
So this one's actually a useless skill. When I was a kid, I really liked magic tricks. Right, I bought magic trick kit sets from like the book fair and all. And there's this one book I got once where I learned how to cut a hole in a piece of paper, where the paper was still like completely intact, but you could put your whole body through it. I thought for years I would never ever need to know that until seventh grade science, when when our teacher challenged us to do just that, and me being the great magician kid that I was like, this looks like a job for me. It was amazing, and I got it, and the teachers were completely shocked that anyone in the room knew it. And then I got a whole box of Oreos for it.
That is a great reward.
See, kids, follow your dreams when you're young, because one day they might pay off. Maybe not somewhat big, but somehow they might.
Oh, that reminds me of something actually, of a skill that I thought was not completely useless, but I figured that I wasn't ever gonna use it. Advanced math.
Right.
Like I was using when I was building something for my Eagle Scout project, I had to use geometry concepts to get it right.
See, the teachers they tell you one day you're going to need it.
One day you're going to need it, and they were right.
There it was.
And another thing, when I was learning CAD modeling in that one class.
That one class that we took.
What's it called?
CAD.
Not CAD. It was the one before that.
No, the class is called CAD. Intro to CAD.
Intro to Engineering Design. That's what it was.
No, I took Intro to CAD.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't take CAD because I was like, I just figured I had other stuff that I wanted to do, like programming.
I took it because I heard it was like a mandatory requirement.
Well, there was IED and IDP. Intro to Design and Presentation, and Intro to Engineering and Design. I didn't see the Intro to CAD though.
Maybe I'm misremembering the name, but I'm fairly certain I remember that's what, because that's what the whole year was. It was just using CAD.
Yeah, that was Intro to Engineering and Design.
It might have been called that. I don't know why I always thought it was called Intro to CAD.
For some reason, it was all CAD. So
it's just CAD, except for in the end of the year when we used, I don't remember what it was, but they were like, "All right, now you've learned the hard stuff. Here's the easy one."
Here's the easy one.
Wow,
I was like, why can't we have done the easy one in the first place?
They actually gave an explanation for that. Because then you appreciate how easy the new one is.
Oh, you were using was it the one with the wireframes, weren't you?
I think this was a long time ago.
Yeah, because you took CAD. You took CAD because I remember somebody telling me about you being in their class. You took CAD
Right, I
1.
had a lot of people in that class that I knew for once.
Yeah, and I was excited because I was in robotics. I was like, Jerry, you're here to join robotics? And he goes, no, I'm doing stuff for CAD.
I did show up to one robotics meeting. I did. And then I never came back.
Yeah, robotics club. That's a section of my life chat, or my subscribers usually don't hear about.
It's
Anyway,
fun though.
so robotics. Once this episode comes out, I'll be streaming sometime eventually. You can catch me there and say, hey, what are you doing in robotic?
What are you doing in robotic?
So anyway, well, like I was saying with CAD, like I got a 3D printer last Christmas, and I have CAD on my desktop. I use Inventor like all the time.
Right.
Like, and I didn't know I would do that, mostly because like 3D printing seemed like way
A
out
foreign
there.
concept. Yeah.
But now I have one on my desk. It's sitting right over here. Like I can touch it.
It's right there. You're living the dream.
I guess.
So yeah, I use that all the time. Like yesterday I printed something I made for that case mod that I made for that power supply. If you saw that on Twitter, or I think I shared it with you,
I guess.
where I cut a hole in my case, my computer case.
I don't remember that.
Oh. Anyway, so I had to cut a hole in my computer case because the power supply that I bought to replace the current power supply, because the fan was broken, it had a fan facing upwards. I had no vents for that, so I cut a hole in it.
Made your own vent.
Yeah, I made my own vent. So what I modeled was a collar to hold mesh to put on top of that hole so dust doesn't get in it. So I modeled that yesterday. In conclusion, CAD is important.
Yeah.
If you're a nerd.
Right, if you care about that kind of stuff.
So anyway, I guess we shall move
Your
on.
turn.
It's my turn now.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my question. You are trapped on a desert island, and you bring one item with you. What is it?
One item. See, we've all answered this question before, like in school and all. But like,
It's just
one item.
It's the one item.
See, you gotta think this through, because it's logically it's gotta be something to help you out, something that, of course, a tactical shovel.
Tactical shovel.
Of course, it's the only logical.
I mean, if
answer.
it's like a trench shovel, that kind of makes sense. Like you could cook on it.
Right.
You could use it as a blade.
Right.
You can use it as a shovel.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of options there.
Plenty.
Yeah, and we're gonna assume that there's no cell phone service, so you can't go, ooh,
Right.
cell
I
phone.
was
I'll
going to
call
say
my
cell phone.
mom.
I was going to say cell phone, but I'm like, there's no service.
Yeah, there's no service. You can't do that. And don't
Oh,
say
heck.
satellite phone either, because that's for losers. Anyhow, so in my desert island situation, I would either bring one of two things. I don't know if the first one is allowed. That's why I said one of two things.
Okay.
The first one is a person.
That's valid. Okay.
Any person that I can.
Just company.
Yeah, just a friend, really.
Or a snack if it gets desperate.
Yeah. I know the downside is 2 mouths.
Yeah. But hey, 2 hunters.
But yeah, 2 hunters, like you get 2 people to do things with.
You're right.
Like it's more manpower. So that's why I'm kind of shaky on that one. If
No,
I brought a friend, because 2 mouths, that's the big one. 2 mouths to feed.
or
Yeah.
one, like I said, one if it gets desperate
Yeah,
enough.
one if you get desperate. Anyway, so my second option would be something like you said, something like a tactical tool,
Right.
something that can be more than one thing,
A multi-purpose item.
multi-purpose tool.
Right.
So it would either be like a Swiss Army knife, or like you were saying, some sort of like shovel, or like axe hybrid shovel thing.
Right.
Uh,
The reason I went with tactical shovel, when Unis Honest was still a thing, I watched that, and Markiplier had bought this big tactical shovel, and he used it like all the time, or he claimed to use it all the time, and it had all these functions in it. I was like, that's perfect.
yeah.
That's the perfect thing to have with you. Like, it's got a knife in it. I think it had a flashlight. Like, come on. You can't beat that.
Tactical shovel, man. Like
Tactical shovel.
my my dad has a trench shovel.
See, any multi-purpose tool would
and
be
we- and-
super beneficial.
Like we bring that with us if we have to stick something in the ground and like the ground's hard, we dig it up with shovel, and it just folds up into like probably the size.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
probably
they're really compact.
about the size of my mouse pad.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Both good options though. A person has its strengths and weaknesses, but a shovel or a multi-purpose tool, I don't see how that can let you down.
Yeah.
Unless it breaks.
Probably not. Some type of multi-purpose tool. Yeah. I would have to think about specifically which tool, because some things can do more than others.
Right.
But that's my option for right now.
Good options. I'm glad neither of us went with that whole I'd bring a DVD set, or like I'd bring like my favorite drink. Like, oh, I hate those answers.
I'll bring alcohol to drown my sorrows. It's funny because I'm not even 21. Yeah.
Yeah. The joke still applies. It's fine.
Yeah, the joke still works. It's fine. If you ignore reality, all jokes are funny.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Anyway, I think we're.
That extended the time a little bit.
Yeah, we made it to 45. That's a decent
Shit,
cast.
really?
Yeah, we did it.
How? Seemed like we just had 15 minutes and then 45.
Yeah, we did it.
Wow.
So we did it,
That's
Reddit.
incredible. I mean, it's going to take a lot of cuts though, so it might be half an hour, but still.
No, it'll probably be like 40.
Okay, sure.
It's still decent.
Yeah, it'll be a not bad size length podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Check those links down in the description. Follow me on Twitter. I usually post there because over the grief of the fact that I haven't uploaded anything. You can also follow me on Twitch for streams. I do that sometimes. I'll actually probably be doing a stream after I get off of this. Somebody asked me to play Payday 2. Thirdly, you can check out Extra Life and donate to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. You can subscribe to the channel. I may upload eventually. I do it sometimes.
Sometime in the upcoming future, there will be a video.
Right. You got it. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Or listening, actually, because it's podcasts. You listen to podcasts, right?
Probably, except for like Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, I guess you watch that kind of.
Or Star Talk. I watch Star Talk.
Star Talk?
Yeah, it's hosted by Neil deGrasse Tyson and co-hosted by Chuck Nice.
Right. Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like it.
Anyway, thank you all for listening, wherever you may listen, and you have a great day.
See ya.